Hi guys, this is Becky from the Evermend team. Thanks for coming back and watching one of my videos. So this is my fourth attempt now at trying to make this video. I've actually been contemplating making this video for about 2 weeks, and it's been something that's really challenging for me. It actually has been really hard to hold the phone right in front of me and videotape this. And I think part of that is because this is something that I have come to a realization over the past maybe 2 or 3 years that I didn't think, or I never really knew I had an issue with. So I realized that I tend to have codependency tendencies and behaviors, and that I often gear myself towards codependent relationships. And I don't just mean that in terms of relationships, you know, marriage or earlier on, you know, with other significant others or what have you, but even in friendships, I've realized that I have had codependent tendencies, and I never thought I did. So it's something that I have been wanting to talk about and share and explore a little bit, and also share at the end of this some questions that I had started asking myself a few years ago that have made me become more independent or dependent on myself rather than codependent and you know, dependent on other people. So early on, back in elementary school, I did have a lot of self-esteem and self-confidence issues, and I had one friend in elementary school who was probably not the nicest friend that I could have had. And for some reason, I continued to want to be part of that friendship. And she was a very sad person. And for a child, I think she was very depressed. She had a lot of things going on in her life, and so to make herself feel better, she put others down and would say things to make her ideas always the most important ones and my ideas not valid or important whatsoever. Yet I still kept on coming back and wanting her validation and wanting her friendship. And then I realized that in middle school, I had 2 friends between 6th and 8th grade who did the same thing. And I continued to want to be friends with these people. And I didn't know why. You know, I wanted to make them feel better about things that they were thinking, even though they continued to belittle me and put me down and make me feel bad when they were with me. And even though they still wanted to be friends, you know, but they knew that I was a sensitive and emotional person and very empathic. And I think that they kind of fed off of that. And I kind of fed off of wanting to be a people pleaser. You know, I was a pleaser and a giver, and so that was what stood out to me in those relationships, and probably why I didn't try to leave the friendship. You know, I didn't know back then when I was a little kid what they were doing to me. I know that they were making me feel bad and that it contributed to my self-esteem and self-confidence issues, but I didn't realize, you know, that that had anything to do with maybe codependency. And then after high school, I got into my first serious relationship, which was an emotionally abusive relationship. There were also narcissistic tendencies as well from my significant other at the time. And he displayed a lot of codependent tendencies and behaviors as well, always looking for validation from me that I was going to stay in the relationship. Do you love me? How much do you love me? You know, stay with me. Come over this weekend. You know, I want to do something with you. No, just us. You know, so anytime I wanted to do something with my friends, it was, no, come hang out with me. You know, you don't need to hang out with them. You can see them another time. You know, or if I was talking to one of them on the phone, you know, why did you talk to them for that long? So I realized a lot of these things after the relationship was over. But at the same time, I loved him and I wanted to take care of him and I wanted to please him. And, you know, he did a lot of the same things too, in terms of also making me feel bad or negative with like the feelings or emotions that I was feeling, that they were not validated, that only his were the right ones. And whenever we would get into arguments, he would buy me something afterwards to try to make up for it, and to try to keep me and keep my love. So I think that with that relationship, and that was 2.5 years, and I learned a lot from that relationship. I never regret or would take back going through any of that. Sorry. But through that, this is how real it gets, guys, with these videos. It gets very raw and emotional. So, anyway, through that relationship, I realized that I think I picked up a lot of codependent tendencies. I kind of learned them through going through that relationship, or I learned them from him. So after that first serious relationship, I had another very serious relationship where my significant other left very suddenly after a very intense and serious time in our lives where we had talked about marriage and having kids together and things like that. And with him leaving, that sparked a lot of abandonment issues. And so I think some of that also kind of trudged up a lot of those codependency tendencies as well, because the self-esteem issues came back, and what did I do wrong, and now I need to be a people pleaser again, because I need to make, you know, eventually I want or need to make somebody care for me and love me again. So anyway, over the past few years, I've realized that that has been in my nature for a long time. And it's been hard to come to terms with. So anyway, this is probably why it's taken me 2 weeks to finally videotape this, because this is really hard for me. One, to relive some of these situations, and two, to kind of, you know, whittle through the fact that I still have a lot of different issues that I'm working on, you know, and sometimes it can be a little bit shameful, you know, and there's a little bit of, not a little bit, there's a lot of stigma, you know, that if you share things out in the open with people, you know, no, that's a no-no, you know, no, there's nothing wrong with you. All right, I'm gonna finish this video if it kills me. So anyway, to start ending on a positive note, I started asking myself these 3 questions over the past few years that have really helped me a lot with breaking away from my codependent tendencies and behaviors. So the first question that I ask myself is, do I need another person's validation or confirmation on this? And if I don't, then that's great. Move on. The second thing that I ask myself is, am I proud of this? And if I'm proud of this and I take ownership of it, that is awesome. I just created my own happiness, and I'm going to move on from there and figure out what the next step is. And the third thing is, if I'm not proud of it, what do I do to improve or change whatever it is that I'm not proud of? And I'm going to move on from there. So those are all things that I have control of to create my own happiness, and I'm being dependent on myself and not other people, and I'm not looking for validation. I'm not looking to please anybody else except myself. So I hope those 3 questions help you a little bit if you're noticing that maybe you've had some codependent issues in the past, or you're struggling through some of it right now. I know that it's something that I'm still continuing to work on, and it is getting better every single day since I've realized that it's been an issue. So that's about it for today, guys. I don't know if I can handle much more. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. When you get a chance, please come visit us at evermend.org, or visit our Evermend Wellness Society Facebook page. Give us a like, join our page, and love and blessings to you all. Again, have a great weekend, and I'll see you all soon.